Um, my name is Joshua Antoine in Toledo, Ohio. I breed Alapaha Blue Blood Bulldogs. I first got started, well, I first got hip to the breed actually in 2006. In 2006, I got hip to the breed because there was a guy, the dog warden, named Tom Skeldon. Anyone can Google this guy. This guy hated pit bulls. And I used to love pit bulls. Guy hated them. He used to try to put them down as much as he wanted to. Um, Made people wear muzzles on them. You had to get insurance on them. Blah, blah, blah. Pretty much long story. He was one of the worst dog wardens in Toledo, Ohio. And he made national news about, how many dogs he used to put down, and he made them a vicious animal in the state of Ohio. And I wanted to find something that could protect my family when I went to work, similar to a good pit bull. And I just happened to be Googling, going down the wormhole of the internet, and I found Alapahs. And they kind of struck me because, they were pretty catchy because I wasn't hip to the Merle gene. So they caught my eye immediately. And I started reading up on them. And they were pretty protective. They got, on most websites, they got 4 stars out of 5 in protection. And that pretty much intrigued me. And I started getting into them, little White Pine Kennels, South Bay Bullies. The list goes on and on. Neurock Kennels. A lot of different kennels I contacted in the matter of 3 years before I bought a dog. I'm not one of those people that likes to jump in the deep end right away. I like to swim first and then, go in the pool. And after 3 years, I ended up making my first buy with UAB's Karma Jade. And she was from Mighty Oaks Bulldogs. And the reason I bought her was back then, I used to work out quite a bit, used to run, used to jog. And there's 2 different, the Alapahas are separated in different bloodlines. The Alapahas, the Animal Research Foundation was the first to recognize the Alapaha as its own breed. And then the APBT started their own brand of Alapahas. And I fell in love with the ARF because I saw mobility in that dog, and that's what I needed for my first dog. So that first dog became my jogging partner, and still to this day she's 10 years old and still one of my best dogs. She's just great, And then my other few dogs came from the ABBA because the ABBA lines are more for the cosmetic look. They were more of your typical bulldog, like the oldie times. But even then, some of the other ones, they're more towards the ARF tendency. So, the Alapahas didn't really established as in like a type of look. So the Alapaha maintains more of a function of a dog. So that's pretty much how I got pretty much into it, man.
Right.
Yeah, I breed. Hell, I kind of lost track. I know. Let's see. I'm at about my 15th to 16th litter right now. That's on the ground right now, and that's ever since I got my first Alapaha in 2009. So it's not like we breed crazy amounts, but when we do breed, we want to make sure that we're breeding the best dog we can. I do show. I show at international canine events, which is ICE. I show at IBECA, and I showed at BBC, and I've won best in show in almost every venue I've been to, except for I've won best in show female, but I haven't won best in show overall.
Okay.
I like to do all aspects, man. In my eyes, there's 3 aspects of a dog. There's conformation, which is one. The dog has to be structurally correct. There's working, which the dog has to be brave, as in working events, as in like lure coursing, protection work. I mean, anything that makes the dog move, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's kind of working, as well as the CGC. Now, I have a few working titles, but nothing on the protection level, which I'm working on right now. And there's the health aspect, and that's the one thing that I focused on right away was the health aspect. And in my eyes, the dog has to have good hips, has to be healthy, in order to maintain the function of the dog.
Mm-hmm.
If the dog doesn't have like the good hips, the good heart, the good, structurally the good inside, it's not gonna have the stamina that it should have in a working environment. So that's the first thing I look at right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically what I breed towards is that, and I feel like the rest will follow in. Hey, that's the fun part about Alapaha. See, there's a lot of, just like any dog breed, there's a lot of arguing. Now, do you remember all the ABs, how they were back in the day? You had your Hines, you had your Johnson, and people used to argue about, the different lines. And then more people started putting the lines together saying they're all American Bulldogs. We're just going to make the best of it possible. That's pretty much where the Alapaha is now.
Mm-hmm.
There's two very, very distinct different lines. But of course, if the one used one line and didn't breed it out, that one line that they used is still in that line that they started.
Mm-hmm.
So the first line, I'll start off with the Animal Research Foundation. They were the first to recognize the breed in 1987. Lana Lou Lane was the first breeder of the Alapaha Blue Blood Bulldog. We wouldn't be talking today about the Alapaha Blue Blood Bulldog if it wasn't for Mrs. or Miss Lane. She started the breed with them, and her goal, in my eyes anyways, because you'll always have people arguing what was her goal. Back then, and I'm not going to BS you on any part. I'm going to tell you like how it is. I feel the truth is better than the false truth. Back then, you got to think that Johnson was making his name. And he was down in southern states and making his name of his dogs. And I feel that Lana wanted to make a name for herself as well, which, that's okay. That deserves to be. She started putting in all kinds of different dogs. I mean, just like any cook-off, any chili cook-off, you don't know what chef is put into what pot. As long as the pot tastes good, it's a damn good chili. And that's pretty much what the Alapaha is, man. I mean, it's a damn good dog. We don't know what ingredients Lana Lou Lane started with, but her ending results was a pretty damn good dog. That got recognized by the Animal Research Foundation, and then about 10 years afterwards, I would say, that's when the ABBA started. The ABBA started because Mr. Coleman got a few dogs from third parties and did a breeding down from Alapaha and started outcrossing in different bloodlines and mixing in more of a bulldogish type of look. And again, no one knows what he wanted except him himself. People can say what he wanted, but until you actually talk to him yourself, you don't know what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
That dog, that Alapaha version, became more of the traditional desired look. And the publicity of the Alapaha, he made that. He was a marketer. He marketed those dogs properly, and those dogs are catchy looking. And those are some of the dogs that you might see today. And his organization started around, I would say, about 95-ish, 2000-ish, because he couldn't get his dogs registered with the ARF like all other Alapahas. And that pretty much started the ABBA, and that's where the ABBA was birthplaced at about those years. Those are the two different lines, and for so many years, man, so many years, any dog breeds that they're gonna have fighting. They're gonna have people that don't agree with your general ideas. They're gonna have people that don't agree with each other. Well, what he had for his idea, what Lana Lou Lane had for her idea, was completely separate. So that started a lot of tension and a lot of hate within the breed, and it still is here today. Me personally, I look at it the same way that I told you. It's like an American Bulldog. That's an American Bulldog. That's an American Bulldog. Just make the best damn Bulldog you can make. You know, that's where I'm at in the breed. I'm done with the fighting. I'm done with the arguing. I've seen it happen so many damn times. And to me, the more you argue, the more you fight, the less you're going to see a good dog. And what that guy basically did, Mr. Coleman basically did, he took some ARF dogs. And now remember, if you add something, you're going to have to, you're going to have to pet quality, and I mean pet quality as in fixing, every single dog down from those attributes. But he didn't do that. So those good ARF attributes that got the Alapaha famous and actually, got everyone first hearing about them, those attributes are still there in many dogs today, even from his lines. So basically, the dogs, they're great dogs. They're great dogs, man. They're great dogs. Sorry. One of the breeds that Lana used was the CATAHOULA leopard dog. See, like I said, back in the day, you saw Johnson making a name for himself, and that's what I feel I'm not always right. I'm not going to be right. But in my aspect, what I kind of see is that she wanted to make a name for herself and make her own type of dogs, because, nowadays everyone makes a breed. There's Valley Bulldogs, there's, look at the American Bully. They're all over the place now, I feel she wanted to make her name in the breed, and back then, the American Bulldog was going real high and gaining ground, and I think, she wanted to add that color to AB and make a whole different breed and bring her name out, which she did. She accomplished that, and bravo to her for that. She did exactly what she wanted to do, and Mr. L. Walker, the head of the ARF, allowed it and said, hey, this is your own breed. So she did pretty good at that, man, and she added a lot more different breeds into the mix. I talked to a guy from Australia, and he still hunts blue blood bulldogs that he got from her. Wow. And this guy, he still gets like 5 to 10 hogs a week with these dogs. Wow. So yeah, they're made to work, man. They're made to do what they're meant to do. They started off in Georgia, so down there, those men and ladies down there, they want their dogs to go through the forest. They want their dogs to work. They don't want their dogs to slack out after a mile. They want those dogs chugging. They want those dogs working ability all the way up and high. They want those dogs protect. They want those, because you never know, coyotes and intruders. They want those dogs to sit there and protect and do what a canine duty is supposed to do. So yeah, she added blackmouth curs, American Bulldogs. She added Catahoulas for the color. That's what made them catchy. She added I mean, probably Kobe pit bulls. I mean, you really don't, like I said with the chili thing, you really don't know exactly what she had, but those are the documented breeds that she's definitely added. So if you want to go towards the ABBA type of side, then you're gonna have to put in Hermes. You're gonna have to put in um, Levette Bulldogs. Who knows what pit bulls? You know, it just goes on and on, man.
Right.
But they definitely, I mean, they kept the Merle gene. Once you add something, you're gonna have to pet quality every single puppy with those dominant traits. If not, then they're just going into the bloodline. Me personally, I'm one of the few that likes to get out and do something with these dogs. Not like do something as in my own area, but like to travel and put these dogs to a test. The Alapaha right now, like I mentioned, is where the AB is about 20 years ago. So not many people are doing stuff with their dogs, but I feel you're about to see a big burst here in about 10 years. And it's going to be more and more of these dogs going to be coming into a household name. And as of right now, you don't see these dogs really getting into the working aspects, but in about within 10 years, you're probably going to see at least 20 get in there, at least 20. This is, I feel, the big boom. You know, this is going to be the decade. I won't say the decade. I feel the next 10 years be a big few years for Alapahas as long as everyone cooperate and work with each other. Interrupt you, but you see the pictures that I sent you. Is there any particular dogs that you kind of caught your eye? I asked you because I want to see if you saw the large type of variety in the dog. That's just in my lines. And like I said, I started with the ARF dog and got the ABBAs. But as you can see, I got like, I'm on my third, fourth generation. You still see that ARF kicking because, like you said, I like a good working animal. And I don't want to breed away from that. You know, you got a good working animal. You got a dog that's smart. You got a dog that just knows. Because let me tell you a story about Karma, my foundation dog. Karma, I went to a park one time, and I live in the city. You know what I mean? So, you know, there's a bunch of people. And I went to the park, and all these kids was coming up on Karma, all these different guys, you know, dog guys, coming up on Karma, checking her out because she's a Merle. She didn't have a problem. Well, when we walked up to the park, there was a big guy, bald, just sitting on a bench. And he's watching all these kids play. I'm thinking, like, you know, I'm not paying too much attention to it, you know, because I got, you know, my kids and, you know, I'm holding the dog and stuff like that. And I'm just making sure the dog doesn't, you know, do something that she's not supposed to do. And that's, you know, she was like 9 months at the time. She starts growling and barking like crazy. Well, the more I walk up to the park, I notice she's focused on this one guy. I'm sitting on the bench watching these kids play. Well, I came over and I started sitting inside the shelter house with the dog. I tied the dog up to the bench inside the shelter house. All these people coming over. That's a cool dog. I haven't seen coat like this. This is a really cool dog. And she was fine. But she stayed focused on this other guy, watching him the whole time. As soon as this guy got up, she went berserk. As soon as this guy came over to the shelter house, went to say hi, what kind of dog is that? Her hair stood up on all. She stood up on her front feet, ready to go. I mean, like I said, she was still a puppy then. And she wanted to challenge this guy. And I'm like, damn, I'm sorry. I apologized to him. Said, man, I'm sorry. You know, she hasn't been acting like this. I don't know what's her problem. But the guy took off, and I noticed that he took off without any kids. I'm thinking he, you know, could have took his grandchildren up there. Or, you know, maybe his girlfriend was up there with her grandchild. Who knows? No, man, dude was sitting there watching all these kids play all by himself. And Carmen instantly knew that. So In my eyes, I want an intelligent dog. You know, to me, I feel like a dog has a sixth sense. They have that sense of someone that has potential danger to them. And a dog needs to know that. If a dog doesn't know that, then it's just not a canine protective dog.
Mhm.
And to me, Karma showed me that. And that's why you see such variety, because I want to keep her dominant traits all the way through my lines no matter what, man. I want to keep those brains in my lines. So when talking about all those different types, just in my lines alone, then yeah, that's, you know, that's, you'll see that large aspect. And the more towards, I've noticed the more towards you get that bulliness, you kind of lean away from that. So my goal right now is to keep that like a black dog look, like you seen with UAB's. He's a grand champion Griffin, owned by PJ, a buddy PJ. He's a real good owner. Works his dog to death. The dog loves him. You know, I mean, like I tell people, you know, my buddy PJ is your key type of owner. He works his dogs. He feeds the dogs appropriately. He don't baby the dogs. 'Cause I feel like if you baby the dogs, you kind of lose the dog's natural ability to protect, you know.
Mhm.
And he's such a great owner. And, you know, he works with his boy. And I want his type of build with Karma's type of intelligence. That's my goal. That's my personal goal for my lines. I can't say that for everyone else's lines, but that's my personal goal.
Mhm.
Oh, you know, the Alapahas high in game, but I mean, you're talking about American Pit Bull Terrier. I mean, they're like the top dogs out there. You know what I mean? Like, I would like to say our dog's just as good as American Pit Bull, but then again, you got what? How many different centuries behind that Pit Bull breeding? It's just not going to happen. Um, do I think the Alapaha has that type of potential? Yes, the Alapaha does have potential in different lines to have that type of game. But remember, the Pit Bull has years, decades of breeding behind it. You're talking about a Alapaha that's just pretty much just now coming into the national spotlight.
Mhm.
We definitely have potential for that, but I mean, we're many years from it, though.
Mhm.
It's gonna take quite. It's gonna take a couple good decades of breeding and working together, and it's hard to do when there's a lot of fighting involved.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
It's just constant fighting. I get it, man. I mean, someone's putting out dogs, making more money than you. You're gonna get self conscious. I get that. Someone's putting out better dogs, but you're over here having kennel blindness. Your dog might have straight stifles, might be kind of wobbly, and you're thinking your dog's the best. Well, then you're gonna get upset. I get all aspects of it. It's just like sometimes it's more like shut up and listen to these breeders that know what the hell they're doing. You
Mhm.
know, you mentioned about asking me my mentor. Would you want to
Mhm.
know more about that?
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
I got into this breed with the ARF side. Breeders come and go. They're much more older people. They didn't last more than a few generations, because it's how I look at it. You have your own bloodline after 3 or 4 generations.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of the ARF breeders didn't last that long. So maybe it was because dogs didn't sell. Maybe because not saying that they were bad dogs, but just saying internet wise, they just maybe they wasn't internet savvy back in 2005, 2006, and they just couldn't sell the dogs like they wanted to. Um, you just don't know, and a lot of breeders got out. A lot of good breeders got out of it. So I didn't really have any mentor on the ARF side, because there just wasn't any. There wasn't much, and some of the people didn't even want to talk to you because they're like, "Oh, who are you? You're from a guy from Ohio. I'm from down here in Alabama. I don't want to talk to your ass," And
Mhm.
I get that. And So there wasn't many people that really talked from the ARF side, so I pretty much had to learn everything myself. Now for the ABA side, I got my first dog from Alapaha Bulldogs, which my boy Slater Stone is. And she sent me to a guy named Carl Brignaw. I think I say his name right. It's Brignaw, whatever. What is it? Brignac. Whatever. Yeah, I mean, I never actually asked him, how the hell you say your last name? You know what I mean? I just assumed. He's at Landshark, Alapahas, Landshark Kennels. He's based in Palm Springs, California. And I got my second Alapaha from him. And, when I first found his website, it didn't really, how you buy something from the internet, you kind of worry about it. Now it's pretty common. But, 10 years ago, you was like, I don't know if I can trust this site. You know what I mean? So, I'm kind of weary about it. And Karen was like, no, he's one of the people that started the ABBA and stuff like that. You go ahead and talk to him. And I was like, all right, cool. So, I started emailing him. I got his phone number, started talking to him. He was one of the few people, I talked to a lot of people, man. I probably conversated with probably over 20, 25 people in the breed from the ARF to the ABBA side. And I have to say he had the most, he's the one that actually talked to me the most, He wasn't stingy about stuff. I think he felt like I was just a guy that wanted to learn. And he had all the answers that I asked, and I ended up getting a dog from him. She was one of my best. I would say she was definitely one of my best females, and I'm still breeding her dominant traits to this day because she was one of my best females. He was one of my main mentors. I talked to him often, still talk to him to this day, here and there whenever whenever we got free time. And he's a good people, man. He seems like a good family man, sort of like how I am. He works and all that stuff. He ain't really I don't think he's really too tech savvy, but he still gets on Facebook. He tries to help people out. He's not like, he's not like how some breeders are, like, oh, my lines are better than yours, I can't talk to you. He's not like that. If you got something to ask, he'll help you out, and he puts in his points. He's a good guy, man. He was one of my first mentors. After that, I started visiting kennels, and I started really driving out and really seeing the dogs, because I felt like you really need to see these dogs and how they truly act, because, I can sit there and tell you I got a dog 130, 140 pounds. The pictures might look like it. As soon as I get there, he might be 95 pounds. So I was like, man, I gotta see how these dogs really are, and I gotta see how these dogs really act, because some guys, they'll sit there and be like, oh, my dogs protect, my dogs are stable, my dogs are the top dogs ever. And then you see the dog, and the dog doesn't even want to come out the kennel. You know what I mean? So I really start getting out here and seeing how these dogs are. So I started driving around, and I visited a few different places. And, I noticed that the more places I visit, the more people I talk to, they're all my mentors, because everywhere I go, I learn something. And it can be someone new in the breed. It can be just because there's a lot of times that when someone jumps into the Alapaha breed, everyone wants to, point them out. Oh, it's a newbie. It's a newbie. Well, this person might be experienced in another breed and might know more shit than you, So if I happen to be going to a show or even organizing a show, and someone comes up and they put out some pretty damn good points, I'm going to learn from that. So I can't just say, I have one mentor. I have to say everyone I talk to is a mentor, because someone's putting out some type, as long as you're listening, someone's going to put out some good information that you can learn off of. And that's what I keep on doing. Another guy I learn off of is a guy named Ken Spitzig in Canada, and he owns triple Alapahas. And me and him, man, we was always really cool. There was a big separation in breeds, obviously, with the ABBA and ARF. He had the ABBA lines, and there was another, believe it or not, another separation of breeders and dogs on the ABBA side alone. See, the ABBA side was putting out all these dogs, marketing all these dogs, putting out litter after litter after litter, and they wasn't giving these guys papers. So these guys that owned all these different dogs, they wanted to say, hey, I got a Alapaha. I don't got nothing to document this Alapaha. So they started going to another registry with the ACA, American Canine Association. They said, hey, we'll give you guys papers. And these guys started getting papers. So you had these people that separated themselves from the ABBA dogs, even though they're the same bloodline. They just didn't get along with the guy that started it. So you had that separation break apart, and then you got another division of owners. Now, Ken was one of the people that was on the ACA side, and me and him just always talked. And the ABBA side, there was a lot of people because, like I always try to tell people, a lion doesn't know if it's a lion unless it's raised by lions. If it's raised by wolves, it ain't gonna know it's a lion. It's gonna think it's a wolf. Well, these ABBA people will go and get the false information of how the breed started, or what are the good breeders, the bad breeders, blah blah blah, and they didn't get the best dogs. You know what I mean? Because there was a lot of clicks, just like in any breed. Well, I was with the ABBA and I had the ARF, and it wasn't like it was a group. The ARF wasn't a group because it was a bunch of older folks. So I was part of that, but I was also talking because me starting off, I was like 26, 27 then. I want to know as much as I can. I wasn't don't talk to me. This person said you're full of shit. No, let me hear what you got to say, because I'll take in what you got to say, and I'll take in what I can and learn from that and work with somebody else at the same time and take in what they got to say. And Ken was one of those people that was just breeding good dogs. He just wanted good dogs. He was weight pulling them. He was working them in the snow in Canada. And he asked me, he was like, hey, how'd you get your dog so muscular? And I would be like, look, man, I got a formula. You know what I mean? It means work your dogs, And me and him just started chatting. We met each other when was that first show, babe? 2015?
Yeah.
Okay. We met each other at our first show in 2015. We just hit it off. He was like, man, I got to see your dogs. And I was like, that's fine. I saw his boy Ace. His little boy Ace was a good, legitimate 22 inches, 85 pounds. That's a good, decent-sized dog for me. Nice head and shoulders on him. And I had this one young female named Bella Jade. She was my first generation. And she was one of the few dogs that got OFA tested and passed. And I said, bring your dog down. Let's match him up, We've been talking this long. Obviously, you know what the hell you're doing. And, I've been lucky so far. So bring your dog down. Hopefully we'll get lucky with, the pups that come out. Well, ever since then, he checked out all my dogs. He was telling me, he was like, man, these dogs look so, because he wasn't a big fan of the ARF dogs. And then, like I tried to explain to him, you got to see the ARF lines in person, because, they can look so skinny in person, in photos, I should say. And then in person, they're like as thick as I am. And it's pictures can be deceiving like that. And he ended up coming down, checking out all my dogs. He was impressed. He liked what I've been doing. Because what I do, I co-own dogs, and I keep dogs that I feel could contribute to my lines. I keep them close to me, because I'd rather keep a dog that's close to me so my lines can further than sell the damn dog. Because then I know this dog has a good home. I know I can come visit this person. I know I can act like a threat and see if this dog actually protects, or I can come in like a friend and see this dog actually won't bite me out of nowhere, you know, and see how stable the dog is. And he's seen all the dogs I had, and we just hit it off, and we've been talking nonstop. And he keeps on putting out great dogs. I'm kind of jealous about this, but every damn show he goes to, he wins. And I hate it. I hate it because I be wanting to win sometimes when I'm going against him, and he just, he just knows how to train a dog.
Right.
So he helped me out with a few training tips, and like I said, everywhere I go, I learn something. And he was one of the few people that taught me that you need to teach a dog this and that, and how to stay, and the dog needs to know how to stay and where to stay and how to place it, And he's an awesome trainer, man, and good. He has a good breeder eye, and like I said, he's still to this day, he's still putting out great dogs and making champions, man. So every day I learn from that guy, and on top of everyone else, like I help run a show, and people are telling me stuff. Like one of the judges came over, was telling me tips on this one dog they was judging, and I ain't gonna say exactly, but it helps me out. It helps me out, helps me learn a dog better. Not just our breed, but just a canine. A canine isn't a unicorn. I mean, a canine is going to be built almost the same way with the same number of bones and stuff like that. Now it can be more broad like a bulldog, or it can be more thin like a greyhound, but still, it's still a canine, man. So I learn off everyone. Has to be raised with them. Most puppies, most of the dogs, like my dogs, have high prey drive. They'll sit there, and if they don't know the cat, they're going to chase the cat down. They're going to want to get the cat. It's dog chase cats type of game. If you want a dog to be awesome with a cat that you already own, make sure they're raised together. I mean, I won't say every single Alapaha is going to be okay with a cat, because it's impossible to say that. There's so many different dogs getting bred, and there's so many different breeders. I can't speak on everyone. There's going to have, just like people, you're going to have these people that are just jacked up in their heads, and they're going to do wrong things. And that's the same thing with a bulldog or a Alapaha. Sometimes you might get a dog that's going to kill your cat or chase your cat or go after your cat, and it could just come at 8 months, 10 months, 12 months. You just don't know. If you were purchasing a dog, I'd just simply say, hey, you got any photos that you can supply me of your dogs with other animals when they're older? And that's the best you can do, man, because there's all these other breeders. I can't say the Alapaha that you get will for sure act like that. Just see how the ancestors acted with cats, and get a dog from someone that has a bunch of different photos with their dogs with cats. The Alapaha does have extremely high prey drive. I mean, I live right by Lake Erie, and we get possums, we get foxes. I live in the city, but you still get all these different little animals. We got a lot of bald eagles, birds, everything. I mean, my dog catches birds, man. Like, there'll be a hawk just flying around trying to grab a little mouse in the backyard, and my dog would try to snatch it up. So, these dogs, they have tons of prey drive, and I like to. We got this little wildlife section by Maumee Bay State Park. It's right off Lake Erie. And I like to take my dogs out there because, they'll sit there and try to go after the beavers, the muskrats, even deers. We saw a couple of deers out there. They'll just stand there and growl and bark at them. A couple male deers started sitting there, scraping their foot, ready to go. And my dog is sitting there. It wasn't scared, man, but the deer ran off, so it wasn't nothing bad. I was I was trembling for a second. I wasn't too sure if the dog was going to charge. And, these dogs, they got balls, man. They got balls. A good dog, a good Alapahas is going to have some balls to them. Oh God.
Yeah.
Again, you know, you're gonna have these dogs that ain't, because that's just like any breed.
Right.
You know, dog has teeth, dog has canines. You know, dog communicates by biting most of the time. A puppy communicates by biting. It's gonna happen. You know, you're never gonna have a dog breed that never bites a kid, because it's impossible. Because for one, it might be bad breeding, it might be bad owners, not teaching the dog right. It might be just bad parents not watching their kids jump on the dog, you know, or scratching the dog eye. And I mean, if I'm sitting there and I'm getting my eye scratched out for 5, 10 straight minutes, I'm going to react, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So to sit there and say that you won't ever see a Alapaha do it, that'd be a full blown lie, you know. To say the majority are great with kids, that's the truth, you know. Again, ask owners for pictures. Ask owners, okay, or breeders. Let's say I, like I said, I'm on about 16th, 17th litter. I should have plenty of pictures with kids, and obviously you've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone's been breeding for so many years, they should have those pictures. If they don't, then run to the next breeder. You know.
Right.
More of a backyard version, I'll say. It wasn't nothing professional. For me, like if you're gonna do dog breeding in a professional way, that means, like you mentioned, working the dog, health testing the dog, confirmation with the dog. That to me are professionals. If you're not doing none of that, then you're not a professional. You're just a breeder.
Mm-hmm.
If if you're a professional, you're breeding for a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's breeding for your own eye of the breed or version of the breed, or breeding for only health, or breeding for only confirmation, or breeding for only working, you have a purpose. In my eyes, you're a breeder then. If you're a professional breeder, if you're not breeding for no purpose, then you're just slapping dogs together. You're not actual professional. When I got into American Pit Bull Terriers, I wasn't a professional. I was a young kid, just got a dog off my cousin Dominic. Great, great dog. And bred her a few times, and then I was like, man, I really want to do this. I want to start doing this more on a higher level, and that's when I started getting into Alapahas. Mainly because of like that band I mentioned in Toledo. They started being like a vicious animal, and I needed a alternate from that. So I got into Alapahas. Oh man, the same reason what Lana made famous, man. The color, the color. The color, man. They caught my eye, man. I wasn't hip to CATAHOULA leopard dogs. I never seen a CATAHOULA leopard dog. I've seen Merles before, but they're all long fur or Great Danes.
Yeah.
The Bulldog version just wasn't around. And I seen Alapahas when they caught my eye. So, my second dog was Slater Stone, and I love the dog. I love the dog. To say he's one of the best dogs in my yard is a lie. I bred away from his traits because he's my dude, but to say that he's like a Karma or like an Ivory Pearl, which was one of my foundation dogs from Carl, I'll have to say that's a lie. He just wasn't as good as those dogs, but he's still one of my dudes. He's still, to this day, he'll sit at my feet. I'll sit there on the porch, don't even need a leash on him, drink a cool Bud Light, and head back in. That he's my dude. To say he's the best prospect, no, that wouldn't be the truth. The color, I got him because of the color. The chocolate merle, I fell in love with, and when I purchased him was on a damn. I want that chocolate merle. That chocolate merle is flashy. You know what I mean? So I ended up getting him. Since then, I've learned. Some of these breeders, they're keeping blue-eyed merle puppies. To me, if the dog ain't already a nice structural dog, then you're just doing it because it's more of the fashion.
Right.
You know, there ain't nothing wrong with it. If that's what they're doing, that's what they're doing. You know, but for me, this is how now. This is how I'm thinking. I'm on my fourth, fifth generations now, and the way I'm thinking is, I need to keep the good structural set and the temperament of the animal. So to me, I'm blind to color now. You know, I'm so used to being blind to color now. I got this puppy named Vel Raven I'm keeping. Guess what? She's black and white.
Mm-hmm.
I got a puppy that my cousin's keeping. Guess what? She's black and white. I got a puppy that I'm co-owning. Guess what? He's black and white. So even though I came into the breed loving the color, I've came to learn you have to be colorblind to create good dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with that is, not the problem as in you got to be colorblind, but the problem with the Merle is that you can't breed. Say you got a fantastic female, okay? You can't breed that fantastic Merle female to your fantastic Merle male because you have a 25% chance of pups being deaf or blind because of the Merle gene.
Mm-hmm.
Now, given that's not a guaranteed percentage, just like you flipping a quarter 10 times, if you had 10 puppies, you can get 9 heads, 1 tail. You can get 8 tails, 2 heads, or you can get 5 tails, 5 heads. You just don't know. You can't predict how the genetic blocks are going to fall. But I've learned that it keeps your hands handcuffed, and you're doing everything. Let's say one hand tied behind your back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so with the black and whites, they can be paired with anything, Merles, chocolates, fawns. I mean, they can be paired with anything. So I've learned that all your dogs, if you're breeding with Merles, should be black and white. All your best dogs should be black and white because then, let's say you meet this badass black and white boy, you can breed to him. Now, given you might not be able to sell puppies in a Merle market as easy, but when you want to create good damn dogs, you make that breeding happen. Then when you breed to a Merle, guess what? You're going to be breeding damn good dogs. You know, and a lot of people are saying breeders are breeding for color, and that's true. That's 100% true. You see it in American Bullies.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as you know what you're doing, as long as you know dominant traits from animals, you could still breed damn good dogs with color, you know. But like I try to tell all these new breeders, take it from me, be able to work with both hands. If you start keeping Merles, you're only keeping one hand behind your back. You know, you can't work with both. So you can always purchase a Merle stud. You can always breed a Merle, you know, but your base females should definitely be always black and white. That way you're breeding to the best thing you can possibly breed to. It's 100% cosmetic. You can manipulate. If I wanted to say, all I want to do is breed big blockhead dogs, and big, huge chests, and it'll be easy to do because you could sit there and travel or go to a show and see the biggest dog breed to the biggest dog. Nice, simple, and easy. Because if you breed to a big dog, you're gonna you focus on the dominant traits. Let's say the biggest male or female puppy pops out, the growth rate is so much. You know, growth rate, I mean, in from 2 to 6 weeks, it's just skyrocketing. You keep that pup, it's going to be a big dog. You keep that dog, you breed again to a big dog, boom, you got nothing but big dogs. So to me, that's strictly cosmetic for me. You know, given the breed standard, you still have to have a certain type of look. But when people say, hey, I like big dogs, don't be in the Alapahas. They're not, majority ain't going to be a big dogs. You sit there and say, hey, I like little dogs. Don't be in Alapahas. They're not going to be little dogs. So if you like a medium-sized dog, maybe you might get your 100-pounder, you might get your 110-pounder here and there, you might get your 60-pound male here and there, you know. But if you like dogs in that range, you're good to go. But when it comes to like you say with the big heads and stuff, to me that's more cosmetic than anything. You're not really you're breeding for looks, and looks is smack dead in front of you. I can look at you and say you got a great beard. So if I want to sit there and grow a beard just like you, it's cosmetic. It's straight in front of you. It's easy, if you want to breed a dog with more of a straight temperament, that's the tough thing. Just like any breed, the Alapahas has a lot of paper hanging in the background. I mean, anything before, how I look at it, anything before the year 2000, American Bullies is all paper hung. ABs, or you never know. I'm in tons of AB groups. And you got all these people saying you paper hung that. So it's in every breed, man. If you're talking about any type of bulldog or pit bull or bully, paper hang is in there. If you're talking about Ridgebacks or Australian Shepherds, that's not paper hanging, because that would change the whole look of the dog. But when it comes to a dog or terrier, know if you're on paper hung or not, and then you kind of start filtering out what you have in front of you. So for me, my goal is for a smart dog. I need a smart dog. I want a smart dog. Breeding a dog that's unstable and unsmart is going to be a liability on myself, on you, the owner. It's just going to be a liability anywhere the dog goes. So I try to breed for intelligence. I want a smart dog overall first, and then I want health to follow that. Because if I'm sitting here making you pay for a $2,000 dog, I want to make sure that dog's running. I want to make sure that dog's still acting like a puppy at 7 years old. I don't want to give you a dog that can't walk at 2 years old. So no, So health is my second aspect. After that, I would definitely say working and then confirmation. But the thing is, working and confirmation. If you got confirmation, the working is going to likely follow. And as long as you got intelligence, the working is going to follow. Because look at the Belgian Malinois. Hella smart dogs, and look how they are in protection work. So that's my goal, to breed smart dogs. I'm one of the rare types, huh, babe? We don't really have a kennel. I own 4 dogs, and how I believe you just can't, like you said about with the kids. Are they good with kids? If I got a dog in a kennel, if I got 8 dogs and they're all in kennels, I can't see how they are with kids. I can't see how my kids are raised with a dog. Like, here, look, hold on. See how that dog is? That dog sleeping on the couch? I can't see that with a dog in the kennel. I can't see that. So I do have crates set up, and we rotate those crates, and we rotate the dogs within the crates, but we at most have 4 or 5 dogs in the home. Anything after that, you need to have a dog in the kennel. And to me, you can't see the true nature of the animal when it's continually living in an outside kennel all the time. So my kennel is not based on kennels. My kennel is based on friends. It's based on families. It's based on what I usually do. I try to place dogs in family environments. I have a dog named Boss, one of the ones that stick out to me. Boss is the litter mate of Wicca Pearl, which Wicca is one of our best working dogs, healthy dogs, all that. Now, Boss lives in a home with one of my high school friends. He said he wanted a good dog. Gave him a good dog. Boss is, in my eyes, and I could be kennel blind when I say this, but Boss in my eyes is one of the top 20 Alapahas in the breed. And
Okay.
I'm biased, but still, he's a great dog, man. He
Mhm.
protects them. They don't. They live in the city. They never have issues. He barks at everyone. Keeps everyone at bay. But yet his kids can hang on him. He's raised with children. Yes, he chews a table a time or two, but
Yeah.
he's a hyper dog, and I like hyper dogs because if you got a hyper dog, you focus the hyperness on something, you're gonna have an amazing dog. So, um, he's a phenomenal dog, and if let's say if they said, Josh, I want to take the next step, I want to put my dog in all these different type of events, they would do tremendous, but I would rather see how that dog is in a family environment and how he is right now. You can't beat the dog. The dog loves the kids, loves his son, loves his wife, he does what he does. And to me, that's a damn good dog.
Mhm.
A great dog is molded to his environment, meaning if you can have a mean dog, but if that dog is smart enough to know to change and to be a great dog and not be mean to kids or family members, because he's Mexican as well as I am, and he has he has like I think 3 daughters or 2 daughters and a couple sons or so. And they got families, they got cousins, they all come over his house. He has parties. The dog's perfectly fine. You don't want to own a dog that can't even mingle with people because the dog's going to chew him up.
Mhm.
To me, that's not stability. Stability is a dog like him that can sit there and wander throughout people, but if a person goes to attack his owner, he's going to stand by his owner. Now, when he was about 10 months old, I tested the dog, and he got the dog, and I tested him, meaning he known me as a stranger. Now, we might go there, check up on him for a couple minutes here and there, but, the dog didn't actually know me. So I threatened him while he was holding the dog, and the dog, I had a bite sleeve on. The dog clamped on, did his work. So I gave the dog a few knees, see if he would come off of it or loosen up his grip. That effing dog bit harder. He
Mhm.
wanted some business. I'm like, dang, this is a good thing. Guess what that dog did? The dog ended up taking the sleeve, went back, went straight in his house, and was licking his kid's face. To me,
Yeah.
that's what you want. You know,
Yeah.
that type of dog is what I'm gonna be always trying to breed for.
Mhm.
So that's what I pretty much try to do, and we co-own dogs with different family households. Could be friends, could be people that just got hip to Alapahs that I feel are good prospects.
Mhm.
For an owner. I don't want to give my dog to someone that sat there and gave 8 dogs up in their past. You know what I mean? I want someone that's going to sit there and treasure the dog and
Mhm.
keep the dog and keep it as a family member. Um, that's what my kennel, United Alapahas, is about. Is seeing how those dogs are in family environments. So we have about 20 dogs, 25 dogs altogether inside the city. People come to my house, you're only going to see like 4 dogs. If you got a whole day, we're going to go for about a 5-hour ride all the way around the city. We're going to see all these different dogs.
Mhm.
So that's my kennel right there. I can't even say it's my kennel because that's why we pretty much come up with the name UAB Family because
Mhm.
we're one family. And I'll take what Ken Spitzig at Triple X Alapahas told me. You give someone their best friend, you're gonna be their best friend too.
Right.
So that's how I look at it. If I give my buddy a damn good dog, guess what? We're gonna be good friends too.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know everyone's on the American Bully kick. I'm not. I'm not a big fan of American Bully.
No comment.
Yeah. There's so many different versions. I mean, don't get me wrong. Alapahas, you have all kinds of types, but American Bully, they and I won't say all, but a majority that I've been around, they don't have the heat that Alapaha has. You can probably be mean to a dog, and the dog probably go behind its owner or whatever. So from my personal experiences, I'm not a big American Bully fan. American Bulldogs, they're just too big for me. I don't like 130, 120, 110-pound dog in my home. Just too big for me. And plus, you gotta clean that shit up that they getting out of their body. So that's a little bit too big of piles for me personally. So I go for the smaller piles. I like French Bulldogs. They're cute dogs. My favorite overall breed is a German Shepherd. That's my favorite overall breed. I can't handle the hair, because I'm not trying to go to Walmart and see 4-inch strands of hair coming off me while I'm walking. So, that's why I'm not into German Shepherds. Now, I will say though, by the time I'm 60 years old, I'll own a Tibetan Mastiff.
Okay.
Because I'm not big on big dogs, but that's one dog that I wouldn't mind saying, calling bear or something. You know what I mean? Because that dog's just one big giant bear, and that would probably be my final dog breed of my life. It's like the Filas. You go to confirmation shows sometimes with the Filas, and it says judges can't touch a Fila.
No.
And that's cool for them, but I don't want a dog that I have to put away every single time someone's here at my house. That's a little bit too much heat for me. Don't get me wrong. I do have my one boy he's amazing, but the thing is, with having a dog like that, you have to be a great owner. If you're not a great owner, then guess what? Something's gonna happen.
That's right.
So, if I owned a Fila, I have to be where I am now, where I can monitor everything, check up on the yard, make sure there's no escapes in the yard. I'll have to, make sure everything's locked up. There isn't no holes in the fence or holes where they dug at and stuff like that. So, if I own one of those type of highly can't touch dogs, and that's you just got to be a damn good owner for that. But I will say I would definitely own a Tibetan Mastiff before I die.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, they look cool, man. They look like a freaking gigantic chow sometimes, but I've noticed there's two different breeds or two different strains of those lines. So when getting one of those dogs, you're gonna have to be real picky and get from a breeder that knows what they're doing. Well, depends on the owner. Let's say you got an owner that doesn't have no children, lives in an apartment, likes to go jogging, likes to go work out, is very active. That'd be a good owner. They're gonna do something with their dogs basically. So a tired dog is a good dog. Now, if let's say you're a single mother or a single father or something like that, and you got 3 children, and you try to get one of my high drive dogs, I probably wouldn't sell you a dog, and that's not being mean, but I don't want complications to happen, as in I'm getting the dog back later, saying, "Oh, I can't have the dog." So, because I raised, don't get me wrong, I got 3 children. Me and my girlfriend raised my daughter. I've had on custody since she's been a baby. So it's nothing bad about those type of situations. But if you're getting a drivey, high-strung dog, you're going to need to do something with that dog. But if you're constantly have to go to daycare to pick up your kids, then you're coming home doing the laundry for them, and then you're going and, you know, because I did it, and it's hard work, man. It's hard work. And then you have to make dinner. It's going to be hard to wear that dog out, you know. So in an apartment, if you're got that type of home in an apartment, I'll probably just pass on that, because you're not going to get the right dog for you at your time of your life. Now, if they're living in a house and their kids are a little bit older, that their kids can wear out the dog, then that's a good family environment. And yes, the Alapaha would be fine with them. Alapaha, most of the time, I won't say all the time, because there's some Alapahas that are a little bit more lazier than others, or there's some Alapahas that just want to chew things up instead of run, you know. But most of the time, as long as you got some kids that help wear them out and stuff like that, and yeah, they're a great family type of animal. Now, in my opinion, you know, the dog, in my opinion, no matter what kids do or anything like that, the dog should always know the kids are basically, you know, like you, the master, you know. So that's pretty much in my opinion. Going pretty quick. I can't, you know, we're trying to do some good breedings, of course. What we have started up is a registry called the Alapaha Bulldog Registry. It's something that there's never been a North American based registry that focused on all Alapaha, saying, hey, you got Alapaha, doesn't matter if it's A or F, doesn't matter if it's APBT version, you have an Alapaha, and we register that. It doesn't restrict you, because back in the day it was only A or F can breed with A or F. APBT can only breed with APBT. ACA can only breed with ACA. This, if you see a nice dog, pair them up together. It's the only way the breed can come together and create better dogs. There's so many now. Me visiting all these different kennels and different places and holding shows and stuff like that. There's so many great dogs out there. You know, so many great dogs. And I think if you only stick to one side, it's just like I mentioned earlier. You got one hand tied behind your back, and you're not using the full potentials that you can. So we started that, and we've been holding shows. Our first international show is going to be in 2019. We've held 3 shows so far. Our first show was the biggest show in North America with about 60 Alapahs. Yeah, it's pretty big. 60 Alapahs in one place, it's like a whoa, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's like American Bullies, you're gonna get a bunch of different dogs, but when you're talking about a rare breed that's not recognized by AKC, or a rare breed that's, you know, just now coming out from the backyard version, you don't think you're gonna get a lot of dogs, and we end up getting 60 dogs our first show. Second show was about 45, 50. This past show was about 40 in Georgia. We introduced our new SAT, which is a stability aptitude test. And what that basically is, it has 8 different tests. And every 2 tests, you earn a small title. And it basically tests the courage of the animal, the handler relationship, the intelligence of the animal, the stability of the animal. And one part is basically you got to walk by all these paper figures of people, you know, and your dog has to act right, you know, because you know how some people they got dogs that, you know, you can't even walk by a stranger, the dog is going to lunge at them, you know. So we try to hit all aspects of the canine, and it's open to all breeds. And we had about almost 40 at the show, and about 70 different dogs, or 70 dogs altogether. About 30 different other breeds that did the test and checked it out and did CGC stuff. And we're going to be doing more events like that here in Ohio, and welcoming more all breeds to our shows, and of course, like I said, doing the international Canadian part as well. We want to try to hold one show in Canada, or two shows we're going to try to aim for in Canada in 2019. But I think we're for sure going to do one, but we're going to aim for two of them. And then we're going to try to do a show in St. Louis and Georgia as well in 2019. Nothing for sure yet. The only thing we do have for sure is a show in Bowling Green, Ohio in 2019. It'll be the last weekend of April. Anyone that has a canine that wants to try the aptitude test can come down. We do hang time. We did tug of war, all that.
Awesome.
So that's basically what we're trying to do is to not necessarily mend the breed, but tell people, hey, you know, you don't have to hate on this type of line of dogs. There's some good ones there. Go check them out. You don't have to hate on the other line of dogs. There's some good ones. Check them out. So it gives people a full opportunity to breed the best dog they can, and without the hey, you got this, you can't breed to that type of bullshit. You know, you can't have that when it comes to breeding dogs. You know, if you got a breed, you don't see the American Bulldog people saying, hey, you have a Scot, I'm not breeding my Johnson to it. You know. Or you might have a few, but you know, you don't have your Scott saying, or your Johnson people saying, hey, your Scott is an American Bulldog. You know, they all say it's American Bulldog, and that's where we're at right now. And we're at saying, hey, it's a Alapaha. If you see one you like that moves well or is smart, then breed to it, man. You know, that's the only way this whole entire breed will get better. This separation shit, this segregation ain't gonna work.